Truth be told, Knicks were down by 4 at the half. They committed 13 first-half turnovers, and he said they're going to blow them off the court in the second half. I hate to admit it, but you were right. How'd you know?
Well, listen, this Bulls team's coming off the back-to-back. They're banged up. They don't have Zach LaVine. They've been playing outstanding basketball without him, but it's going to catch up to you when you don't have just high-level elite personnel in the NBA. And right now, when you look at this Knicks team, they have high-level elite personnel. And it's very nice to watch this team play. OG Anunoby, the piece fits completely perfectly with that starting unit. He's exactly what the Knicks needed. Now the ball runs through Brunson and Randle, and there's no negotiations about it. There's no got to get another guy involved, got to get another guy involved. Those two guys, when they're on the floor, they are the focal point of the offense. All the other pieces fit perfectly. And this team is being assembled to accomplish a lot and to win a lot of games, not only in the regular season, but also the playoffs. This team is assembled to be a factor come playoff time and the rest of the year.
All right, so the Knicks had only 2 turnovers in the second half after the 13 of the first half. And after being down by 4 at the half, they won the second half by 20. And they really blew things open in the fourth quarter. You went very easy on me.
I did.
You could have come after me.
That's
there.
all right.
I appreciate it. All right.
There's a little bit of knowledge over here, a little bit of...
He called it. I give him credit.
Knowing how things work. You can just tell when you watch this team.
You were so confident that you kind of just checked out.
This team is so much better than the Bulls. They are so much better when you go matchup for matchup. The Bulls have a bunch of guys that are trying to, Caruso's playing great, but he's a role player. I mean, Jalen Brunson's a bona fide star. He's going to be an all-star, and so is Julius Randle. And those two guys are the best players on the court by far, and the Knicks were going to show that in the second half. Their defense picked up. Isaiah Hartenstein was outstanding. The way he's playing manning the middle has been a lot of fun. OG Anunoby, he doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat out there. It doesn't even look like his pulse rate gets over 100. He's just such a smooth player. He's just an outstanding addition to this Knicks team. He got in a little bit of foul trouble in the first half, but then the second half, Julius Randle, the way he's playing, the game has become so much simpler for him. And that was an outstanding play in the fourth quarter. Josh Hart finding Isaiah Hartenstein, rewarding him for his absolute valiant effort on the boards and on defense with all the block shots and steals. It was fun to watch that second half, and the Garden is the place to be now with this New York Knicks team. I'm telling you, this second half of the season, this stretch run, it's going to be a lot of fun to see where this team can go, and I think there's another piece to be added, which is going to really make this team a championship contender.
By the way, Anunoby in his second game as a Knick, 11 points, 8 rebounds. You had Randle at 35, Brunson 31, and 13 assists. Monica McNutt now joins us from across the street. Monica, what stood out to you tonight?
Oh, man. There's a lot of things that stood out tonight. Obviously, Julius and Jalen had terrific games, but I think Isaiah Hartenstein, again, 20 rebounds. I checked the box score this time, PDO. I got paper, in fact. I just think the pride that he is showing and filling in for Mitch and, of course, being an anchor for this team. And he actually said that to us postgame on the radio, that he took it kind of personal, what Andre Drummond had been able to do prior to coming into this ball game. He's had a few 20-and-20 nights of his own. So I think the other thing that strikes me, guys, and tell me if I'm reading too much into this, there seems to be a level of joy and lightheartedness that this team is playing with. Now, I know that some of that is a byproduct of playing well and winning, but playing for one another. I mean, I think we're seeing some extra passes that yield to positive results that I don't know that we always saw.
I couldn't agree more with you, Monica. The ball, the pieces, everything's moving perfectly. Good to see you found the quick little stairwell to get down to the post game a little bit quicker. That's good to see.
You get lost over there, Monica, or what?
You calling me out? Let me tell you, actually today I was like, hold that elevator. I got to get to the post game.
I'll show you a secret stairwell that can get you down there really quick.
All right, copy.
But what was it like in the arena in the second half? Because Bill Pito, he's allergic to going in the arena and actually watching the game in person. He's rather be over here.
I want to listen to our announcers.
Oh, okay, I get it. But what was it like in that second half? The energy had to be off the charts.
It was fantastic. And, Knicks fans are so smart and astute as basketball consumers. I think my favorite possession in the arena, Wally, was the 4 offensive rebounds and finally the OG Anunoby dunk, right? You could hear the crowd, holding their breath that one of those threes was going to fall, and rightfully so. I mean, this team ended up shooting just under 40% from 3, so they were good shots on a night like tonight. But then OG Anunoby, who continues continues to endear himself to this fan base, finishing at the rim almost as if to say, all right, that's enough with the threes. Let's just get a basket. And the arena erupts as the basket goes down. And so this fan base is really, really enjoying this team. And it's really been a really strong 2-game homestand as they prepare for Philly up next.
Yeah, we'll see you in Philly. What do you think? Knicks have not beaten Milwaukee, haven't beaten Boston. Obviously, a win
They
at
beat
Philly.
Milwaukee on Christmas Day.
They did beat Milwaukee. Come on, Peter.
My bad. My bad. Can they beat Philadelphia?
Can, of course you can. They're 5 and the Knicks 5 got to lace them up. Now, is it going to be easy? No. But I do think that if you get some hot shooting, if you figure out how to contain those other guys, I'll even give you Joel Embiid maintaining the 30 and 10 stretch that he's having. But if you figure out how to contain those other guys, I mean, I had Philly in Miami on Christmas Day. Tyrese Maxey is not immune to an off night. And so I think it will definitely come down to the defensive intensity that they can bring and how this game is played in the paint between rebounds and scoring in the paint.
All right, Monica, thank you. We'll see you on Friday, okay?
Sounds good.
Actually, the Knicks, one of their best wins of the year was Christmas Day.
Yes.
Let's take that off the record.
That's okay.
Okay. Hartenstein.
Yes.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Now, this is 8th start. Again, worth repeating. Only the 4th Knick ever with at least 10 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 blocks. The others, Marcus Camby, Patrick Ewing, and John Gianelli. John Gianelli, that's going way back.
That is big-time company right there. And when you analyze and dissect Isaiah Hartenstein's game, he's a really, really unique center. He really is. Just the ability to block shots at the rim. When you track his analytics at defending the rim and challenging at the rim, he's right up there with Mitchell Robinson, maybe even a little better. And you give him minutes like you gave him tonight and being a starting center, I mean, he is a rebounding machine, offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding machine. What I am so impressed with his game is his foot speed as a center. He has quick feet. He's very good in the pick and roll. He can move his feet laterally very, very well. He's sneaky athletic. We saw it with some of the finishes that he's had. And he also has a great touch. I love that little floater game that he has when he gets the ball in the paint and in the lane. And he's also an outstanding teammate. The guys love him in the locker room. That's the finish. I love him adding a little bit of flair to that game. I mean, this is just the perfect game for your center. 5 blocks, 7 offensive rebounds, 20 rebounds, only 6 field goals, made 4 of them. It doesn't get any better than that. That is a thing of beauty there, Bill Pino.
All right, he's just fantastic. Again, his 8th start without Mitchell Robinson. And as he starts to develop, I mean, how are they different with him doing this as opposed to if Robinson were healthy?
Well, he's getting more of the time, so he's got to make sure he continues to keep himself healthy. Obviously, he's a big piece for the Knicks, and he's got to be that anchor on the defense. But he's just got to continue to develop as he's still young, too. You got to remember, I mean, he's just coming into his prime. And he hasn't had an opportunity in the NBA to really show whether or not he can be a starter. This is his opportunity. He's taken advantage of it. He came from the Clippers, where he was an outstanding backup center, and he was more of a floor spacer and a jump shooter, a little bit more from the three-point line. He's kind of abandoned that part of his game because Tom Thibodeau wants his big guys around the basket rebounding. And he's showing Tom Thibodeau and us as New York Knicks personnel and fans that this is a big part of his game, and he can handle being the man in the middle for a very good basketball team, and he's doing a great job of it.
36 minutes of playing time for Hartenstein. Made the most of it tonight, that is for sure.